My name is Paul Peck, sportscaster and voice of the UB Bulls. I'll be your MC for tonight, and my job tonight is simple. Stand back and bask in the glow of these amazing individuals. As coaches, athletes, leaders, and observers, they have helped all of us enjoy and appreciate what it means to love sports and what it means to love Buffalo. This is the 31st annual Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So let's get started, and we will start with our team of distinction, the 1958 UB Bulls.
The 1958 University at Buffalo football team will be remembered as much for its dominance on the football field as for its unity off it. Following an 8-1 regular season, the Bulls were honored on The Ed Sullivan Show for winning the Lambert Cup, a trophy given to the best small school program in the East. The honor came with an invitation to play Florida State in the Tangerine Bowl, UB's first bowl invitation. However, in a time of civil rights unrest, the invitation came with one condition: that Buffalo's two black players, Willie Evans and Mike Wilson, not attend the game. Without hesitation, the team unanimously voted not to play the game, refusing to leave their teammates behind. The 1958 team's unified stance against racism was a great and principled action, inspiring to others, and dignified themselves, the university, and all of Buffalo in the eyes of the entire nation.
Representing the 1958 team, 10 other members, if they would please stand, and representing the University at Buffalo is Vice President and Director of Athletics, Mark Allnut. Thank you guys for everything that you have done and the inspiration you have been to all of us. Our next inductee in the class of 2021 is a familiar name to every Bills fan because they know how important he was in making the Bills great in the 90s. Former Bills General Manager John Butler.
John Butler was born in Chicago, Illinois, August 13, 1946. He attended high school in Urbana, Illinois, and immediately enlisted in the Marines after graduation. Butler served 4 years in the Marines, including a stint in Vietnam, where he saw combat in 1965. After serving his country, Butler attended San Bernardino Junior College before transferring to the University of Illinois, where he played one season for the Illini at guard before a knee injury ended his playing career. His coaching career began in 1979 as an assistant at the University of Evansville. The Chicago Blitz of the USFL hired Butler in 1982, where he worked with George and Bruce Allen, Bill Polian, and another native Chicagoan, Marv Levy. After the USFL folded, Butler made his way to the NFL, where he became a scout for the San Diego Chargers in 1985. In 1987, his connection to Marv Levy and Bill Polian brought him to Buffalo, this time as Director of College Scouting. He was promoted to Director of Player Personnel for the Bills in 1989. This is where John Butler's keen eye for evaluating talent came into play. When other teams were passing on a running back out of Oklahoma State University due to concerns about a knee injury, Butler convinced Marv Levy to take a shot at him. That running back, Thurman Thomas, eventually became the Buffalo Bills' all-time rushing leader. Butler was known for finding diamonds in the rough out of small colleges. Don Beebe out of Chadron State, Alabama A&M's Howard Ballard, and Phil Hansen from North Dakota State all played key roles in the Bills' success of the early 1990s. In 1993, he replaced Bill Polian as general manager of the Bills. The Bills went on to the playoffs in 5 of his 8 seasons as general manager, and he drafted many future starters, including Reuben Brown, Eric Moulds, Sam Cowart, Peerless Price, and Antoine Winfield. After his tenure in Buffalo ended in 2000, Butler headed to San Diego to become the general manager of the Chargers. He was not forgotten in Buffalo, however, as during his 14-year tenure, the Bills went to the playoffs 10 times, the Super Bowl 4 times, and had a record of 140 wins, 83 losses. John Butler, forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
It's pretty amazing to see the lineup of players that John played a role in bringing here to Buffalo. He was a football guy through and through, and I'm so happy for him and his family to be one of our latest inductees. All right, next up on our list of 2021 inductees, Ron Muscati.
A native of Niagara Falls, Ron earned his bachelor degree in photojournalism from Kent State University in 1954. He served 2 years in the Army as a signal officer. He attended graduate school at Syracuse University, and he worked briefly at his hometown Niagara Gazette, and in 1957 joined the Buffalo Courier-Express as a staff photographer. Ron became the Courier's chief photographer in 1972, remaining in the position until the paper closed in 1982. He then continued his career at the Buffalo News, retiring in 1995. In addition to his work in the print media, Ron also freelanced as the Buffalo Sabres team photographer from their inception in 1970 and did similar work for the Buffalo Bills and the baseball Bisons. Ron demonstrated his unique visual perspective for the Bills' AFL championships in 1964 and 1965, the Bills' 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, the Stanley Cup fog game between the Sabres and Flyers, and O.J. Simpson's record-breaking run to surpass Jim Brown's single-season rushing record. Ron was in Lake Placid when Team USA upset the Soviets for the Miracle on Ice game. Other iconic news events Ron captured include the collapse of Niagara Falls Prospect Point in 1954 for Life magazine, the 1970 University at Buffalo and Allentown riots, the Attica prison uprising in 1971, and the blizzard of '77. And while such memories may fade over time, Ron's image of the French Connection, taken during a 1975 playoff game, served as the inspiration for the statue of Gilbert Perrault, Rick Martin, and Rennie Robert, now displayed on the Alumni Plaza at the KeyBank Center. Ron has had a professional photographer's front row seat to some of the greatest athletes, sporting, and news events our region has ever seen. He shared that view through his lens during a career that spanned over 41 years. And tonight, Ron Muscati is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
They said I can speak a few words. They're very simple. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Congratulations. Damn right I do. That's from the heart.
Couldn't have said it better. Congratulations, Ron. Our next inductee in the class of 2021 is William Russell.
Born in Boston, Massachusetts, at a young age, Bill Russell moved to Buffalo in 1916. He graduated from Bennett High School, where he ran on a relay as part of the Orange's champion track team. William Russell made his mark on Buffalo's sports scene through his support of athletic groups. In 1956, he got his start as organizer and first president of the Central Amherst Little League, an organization that still exists to this day. His most meaningful contributions were made on the ice, including serving as president of the Buffalo Skating Club in 1957 and 58. As president, Bill brought in numerous elite skaters and Olympians, such as Dick Button and Kit Klein, to perform exhibitions. In 1959 and 60, Bill made his biggest impact on Western New York youth sports as he started a Muni hockey team that eventually became the Shamrocks and then became the Bison Hockey Association, which is how they are known today. The team played in the Buffalo Municipal Hockey League, winning both the league and the playoffs that year with a record of 20-0-1. The following season, the team went 23-0-1 in the regular season to win the midget division and made their second consecutive trip to Lake Placid, winning their first state tournament. Bill then formed a second Shamrock team, this time at the Pee Wee level, eventually adding teams in the Bantam, Pee Wee, and Squirt House levels. In 1966-67, Bill once again led the Shamrocks to a state title. Playing their home games at Dan Memorial Rink, the Shamrock Pee Wees, with future NHLer and Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame member Peter Skimura, went undefeated in league play and headed to the state fairgrounds, winning the New York State Pee Wee Championship. Along with his involvement with the Shamrocks, Bill was a founder and director of the Amherst Hockey Association, a director of the New York State Amateur Hockey Association, and the Amateur Association of the United States, now known as USA Hockey, and New York State representative on the American Olympic Committee. Russell passed away in November 1979. His legacy lives on through the Bison Hockey Association, still growing strong in its 65th year, and the Amherst Hockey Association, now in its 57th season. Tonight, William E. Russell is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Sponsoring the induction of William Russell is the Bison Hockey Association, represented by Barney Walsh, president, and here on stage, William Russell's children, Bill and Susan. Our next inductee in the Hall of Fame class of 2021 is Deb Dorlane.
A four-sports standout at Orchard Park High School, Deborah Dorlane, class of '79, is one of the most highly regarded prep swimmers to ever come out of Western New York. Deb moved to Western New York prior to her sophomore season, and she made an immediate impact with the Quakers. In swimming, she won the Section 6 races in the 50 and 100-yard freestyle, and as a member of the 400 free relay team. The relay team's time, established during the 1977-78 season, set a state record that stood for 4 years. As a result, she was named MVP of the sectional meet. Away from the pool, Deb was team captain and first baseman for the softball team, where she was the team MVP for a squad that advanced to the 1978 sectional championship game. She also competed in track, running the 220 and 440, and qualifying for ECIC and sectional meets. In addition, she was a guard on the basketball team. Deb was inducted into the Orchard Park Hall of Fame in 1999. After high school, Deb competed for the Bowling Green swim team, where she received a partial scholarship to compete for the NCAA Division I Falcons. She was part of the Mid-American Conference champion 200 medley relay team and qualified for nationals in the 50 and 100-yard freestyle, as well as the 200 medley relay. She earned All-American honors that year and was All-MAC in 1981. Dorlane then transferred to RIT, where she set 7 school records and was a 6-time New York State WCAA champion. As a member of the Tigers swim team, she received 10 All-American honors and also hit .350 for the RIT softball team. She was inducted into the RIT Hall of Fame in 1988. After college, Deb became a softball umpire, where she's been active since 1999. She was elected vice president to the Western New York Umpires Association in 2019 and is only the second woman to hold an elected position with that group. She also umpires baseball in addition to her softball assignments. Currently the basketball coach at Hutch Tech, Deb has been a certified swim official since 2000, and tonight, Deb Durlane is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Here we go. All right, game on here. All right. Wow. This is quite the honor. I first want to say congratulations to all the inductees. And this is just surreal to be considered in the same company as these athletes, coaches, and to be one of the lucky 43 women enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. There are so many people who have helped me, coached me, supported me, encouraged me, pushed me, challenged me, and partnered with me that I couldn't possibly name everyone, but I certainly want to express my sincere gratitude to all who have supported me throughout my career. Tonight's program contains stats about individuals' accomplishments, but I am sure you will hear that there are stories that didn't make the program. I wanted to share a few of those stories because each story contributes to this day and tells about those people who inspired me to be the best I could be. Swimming is probably the most notable sport that I have achieved the most accolades for. I quickly did a calculation the other day, and from my thought process, I lugged about 7,000 miles of swimming. So that's the distance from Buffalo to London and back. So after leaving Bowling Green, I swam at RIT, which is a National Technical Institute for the Deaf, which we had a few of the students that had hearing loss on the team. And I befriended one of those swimmers during my time there. She had trouble communicating with her parents on the phone back in the 80s when those TTY machines were the only type of link that they had between a non-hearing and a hearing loss person. So my friend quickly discovered that it was much more efficient for me to lend her my ears and call home for her. And I was able to learn some sign language and was able to communicate with her with my ears, and I became a lifelong friend. So skipping forward to my golf career, one of the most exhilarating moments I've had in my athletic career was chipping in for the win that sent our Oldsmobile Scramble team to Disney. I was on an all-male team because I could hit the ball as far as most men. And I had the advantage of hitting from the women's tee box. So it was probably the only time that gender equality even worked in my favor and giving me those few extra yards. But even when I did golf, I was never too far from the pool. And there's a par 3 at Orchard Park Country Club that has a green that was very close to the pool. And I shanked one, and it went into the pool. And I never would have thought that was a water hazard before, but I did find it that day. And as I picked up my tee and went back to my bag, and I looked up and I see Ed Kilgore behind me. And I was kind of excited to see somebody. At that point, he was still on air. And how he said to me, "What an aggressive swing you just had." So that was kind of a highlight in that, on that day. But of course, now I fast forward many more years, and I'm married to my own television personality. I'm sure that most of you know Don Paul. And so he's the one that usually enjoys this kind of spotlight. Not so much me, but tonight we'll do this. One of the many positives about being married to Don as a meteorologist, I can get a weather report from him before I walk out the door to go do my umpiring job. So that's always a good thing. And I also wanted to thank my kids, Matthew, Joe, and Emily. Matthew's here tonight. And just having a mom, as I know Julie probably knows, that having a mom that's so involved with teaching and coaching and officiating, it's a pretty big sacrifice for the kids. And I appreciate them in more words than I can express. And I'm also very proud of them. One of the hardest moments of my athletic career was playing on the second day of our club championship at Orchard Park, and my dad was having open heart surgery. He did not want me to pull out of the tournament, and that was a real struggle for me. But he told me as I dropped both my mom and he off at Buffalo General, he said, "Go win it." And that day I came up one stroke short, but they were still proud of me. And I won it the next year and dedicated that win to him. Throughout my multifaceted athletic career as a coach, mentor, and athlete, I've always strived to be the best I can be and not let anybody beat me. In my era, I had to watch my brother play baseball because girls weren't allowed to play. This drove some of my fire and passion to compete. To this day, I strive to be a positive role model for women in our world as our world tries to work through the gender equality issue. Although I can never repay all who supported me, I can pay it forward as a coach, and I strive to give my teams the strength, the knowledge, the toughness to become the best that they can be in their athletic endeavors and their personal lives. The women that I've coached have taken on leadership roles in the corporate world. They've become lawyers, periodontists, doctors, physician's assistant, nurses, a television news anchor, mechanics, IT specialists, teachers, and mothers. It's fantastic to see them thrive. And some of these kids, both male and female, have even taken on coaching in my footsteps. As an umpire, I try to prove that women can not only succeed in sports, but they also deserve a place in officiating sports and making important decisions. Sometimes these important decisions include throwing out coaches and even parents who think they're playing for $1 million. When people hear that I'm an umpire, they always want to know how many people I have ejected. Right, Greg?
Yes.
In my 23 years of umpiring, I've only had to throw out 3 people. But the better story is the thousands of coaches, players that have acted as role models for their players, and thousands of players that also have left it all on the field for their team. I can only hope that the legacy I leave on the world of sports is that of a strong, positive role model for players, coaches, officials to emulate and strive for. I will continue to fight for the equality that we all deserve. Please don't stand in silence. Don't be afraid to speak up for what's right. And to end, I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for the recognition you have given me, and the 1958 UB football team for standing up for what was right. I want to thank the administrative bodies who are recruiting qualified female athletes to fill coaching and officiating positions for all sports, but especially for female sports. I want to also thank my parents who were always there for me and are watching me from above tonight. Thank you all for being here. Have a good evening.
The pool is 145. You didn't shank him, you hit a freaking kick right.
Deb, that was awesome, but I do have to say you went a little over on your time, but then again, you're married to Don Paul, so that clearly runs in the family. You know Van is watching this from above. He would have wanted me to say that, Don. You know that. Congratulations to Deb and to Don. Our next honoree in the class of 2021 is Angela Coniglio.
In the early 70s, a young boy got into a bit of trouble for shooting pucks against the family's garage door. If he still wanted to play, he'd need a quick solution. The solution was his 7-year-old sister, who he put in front of the door to stop pucks. And that was the beginning of an incredible career in sports for Angela Coniglio of Amherst. Within a couple of years, Angela was playing goalie for several Wheatfield Blades all-boys ice hockey house and travel teams. This continued into her high school years as goalie for the Amherst Central High School boys club hockey team. In 1984, with Amherst winning the league hockey championship, Angela was named MVP. At Amherst, she earned varsity letters in softball, field hockey, basketball, and soccer, being named captain of both the field hockey and basketball teams. In addition to being named the ECIC Division II All-Star team in soccer, she set a school record with 27 goals scored her senior year. After Amherst, Angela played both soccer and softball at Nazareth College from 1984 to 1987. Her main sport was soccer, setting school records for most career assists with 31, while scoring 42 career goals, graduating as the number 2 all-time scorer with 115 points and leading the team to 4 consecutive winning seasons and a 50-22-5 overall record. Angela was a 3-year starter in the outfield for Nazareth softball, helping the team to a 28-7-1 record. Angela competed in numerous New York State Empire State Games, winning medals 11 years apart. She earned her first silver medal in the 1984 Games for the Western Scholastic women's soccer team. She earned her second, a bronze, for the Central Open women's team in the 1995 Games. Angela Coniglio passed away at the age of 30 on April 29, 1996. To honor her advocacy of women's sports, an ongoing scholarship in her memory is given annually to deserving Amherst High School women. Angela was posthumously inducted into both the Nazareth College and the Amherst High School Athletic Halls of Fame. And tonight, Angela Coniglio is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Representing Angela are her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Angelo Coniglio, and sponsoring the induction is the Empire State Fund, represented by Leo Kaminsky. Our next inductee in the class of 2021 is Jerry Gentner.
Just show up was his motto. Jerry Gentner encouraged his athletes to just show up, and if they did, good things will happen. Good things did happen to the Williamsville South softball program once Jerry Gentner showed up in 1997. Gentner started out as a physical education teacher at Hamburg High School in 1966. In '68, he coached the boys varsity soccer team to an 18-0 record, allowing only one goal, en route to a regular season and a Section 6 title. In 1970, he left the teaching profession for a career as a financial planner at L&M Financial Services. After his years in Hamburg, Gentner was involved in Amherst girls softball for 16 years as a volunteer, coach, and board member. In 1997, he came back to the high school coaching ranks, this time with Williamsville South as the girls varsity softball coach. Gentner stayed there until 2011, amassing an incredible record of 259 wins, 65 losses. During that time, the Billies were league champions in 12 out of 14 seasons, 8-time Section 6 champions. They won state titles in 2000, 2004, and 2006, with Gentner being named Coach of the Year all 3 years. In 2000, his Billies went 20-0, and in 2004, 28-0. From 2003 to 2008, he led Williamsville South to an incredible 59-game league winning streak. Williamsville South also established a state record by winning 46 consecutive games, ending in the 2005 state championship game. He held Saturday pitching clinics all over Western New York for anyone who wanted to attend, including Williamsville South's competition. Along with coaching his daughters Julie and Laura, Jerry Gentner also coached 14 All-Western New York players, including 3-time honoree Michelle Friday, Canadian Olympian Caitlin Lever, and 2006-2007 Gatorade New York State Player of the Year, Chelsea Plimpton. Gentner is a member of the New York State High School Softball, Amherst Avenue of Athletes, Hamburg High School, Section 6, and Western New York Softball Halls of Fame. Jerry passed away in January 2012, but is remembered throughout Western New York in multiple ways. Just Show Up was spray painted behind home plate as remembrance in his honor. A golf tournament in 2018 with funds going to Roswell Park was established in his memory, along with an annual scholarship he established for senior softball players at Williamsville South. In addition, the press box at Cortland State is named in his honor. And tonight, Jerry Gentner is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Jerry is represented up on stage by his wife Sally, and sponsoring the induction is L&M Financial, represented by Joe and Max Lipsitz. How about we keep this all in the family? Because our next inductee in the class of 2021 is Julie Gentner Murphy.
A three-sport athlete at Williamsville South High School, Julie Gentner Murphy led the Billies in each sport she competed in. In basketball, Julie tallied over 1,000 points as a point guard. In softball, she helped lead the team to 2 state championships and was a 2-time first-team All-Western New York selection. However, it was in field hockey where she really excelled. In addition to being selected first-team All-Western New York in 97 and 98, she was also named to the All-State team in each of those 2 seasons. She also helped lead the Billies to the New York State Field Hockey Championship game in 1998. Julie continued her athletic career at SUNY Cortland and as a member of both the field hockey and softball teams. On the hockey pitch, she was a 3-time All-American forward and the NCAA Division III Player of the Year. She also earned SUNYAC Player of the Year honors twice. She helped lead the Red Dragons to the national championship in 2001. Julie set the all-time single-season scoring record with 64 points in 2002. She also ranks second in career goals with 63 and in assists with 37. On the softball field, Julie set a school record with 18 doubles, helping the team to 5th place nationally at the NCAA Division III World Series. She had a career average of .402 and ranks first at Cortland with 58 doubles and 139 RBI. She was a 3-time All-American shortstop, a 2-time Academic All-American, a 4-time All-SUNYAC selection. She was named Female Athlete of the Year for the Red Dragons in 2003 and was the youngest person ever inducted into the SUNY Cortland C Club Hall of Fame. Julie has returned to the Diamond at Williamsville South and currently serves as the head coach of the Billies, capturing 2 sectional titles in 2014 and 2018 and a New York State Class A championship in 2014. She is a 2-time ECIC Coach of the Year and was selected as the New York State Coach of the Year in 2014. In her free time, Julie dominates the local links. She is a 5-time Buffalo District Golf Association Player of the Year, a 9-time Brookfield Country Club champion, and she has finished in the top 10 of the state Mid-Am Golf Championship 7 times. Julie Gentner Murphy, forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
I want to thank the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame, Paul Stasiak and Kevin Lesser for this prestigious award and congratulate my fellow inductees on their incredible accomplishments. I would also like to thank L&M Financial Services for all their support. I chose to write my younger self a letter to honor and thank all those who had such an impact in my life. Dear Julie, you are blessed to have an incredible support system that starts with your mom and dad. They teach you how to become all that you are capable of. Their faith in you is your foundation. Your parents will teach you about work ethic, dedication, drive, and positive energy. They will teach you that you are free to choose your attitude, regardless of the circumstances, and this will be the most important choice you will make. Your mom is the rock of your family. She is brave, strong, confident, and independent. Her constant support and beliefs shapes you into the person you are. Her words of encouragement inspire you to work hard and achieve the impossible. She is your best friend and you can lean on her for anything. You look up to your older sister, Laura, for your entire life. She is a great role model, smart, driven, organized. You will have an unbreakable bond that is so very unique and strong. Naturally, as athletes and competitors, you and Laura always assume that your sister-sister bond is much stronger and even more special than any other sister competitors. Sister and best friend are only the beginning of describing how important she is in your life. Some of your fondest memories growing up are different from most young girls. Your brother Matt and cousin Jason didn't care about you being a girl. They wanted to know if you were ready to play street hockey, running bases, or bike in the neighborhood. These experiences played a big part in who you are today. It made you competitive and definitely made you tougher. You even won a few fights. You might not believe this, but your sister's senior prom date becomes a very important person in your life. Your brother-in-law, Tim. Where do we begin? It started with some bad card tricks and turned into Tim being your closest friend, role model, and #1 fan. He gives you unconditional support, whether it's at work, on the golf course, coaching, or anywhere in between. You can always count on Tim to make you laugh or make fun of you, whether it's necessary or not. After 4 great years at Williamsville South, you stayed true to yourself and you picked a college that felt right. You picked the same school that your father went to, SUNY Cortland. Cortland will be the perfect fit for you academically, athletically, and socially. At Cortland, you will go on to be a 2-sport All-American and set school records in both softball and field hockey. This is the kind of stuff that you are never comfortable talking about, even in a letter to yourself at a Hall of Fame induction. Trust me, the more impactful events will be a lifetime of shared memories and stories. While at Cortland, you become a national champion in field hockey and celebrate a SUNYAC championship and World Series appearance in softball. The trophies and recognitions for these wins and records are so small when compared to the lifetime of impactful lessons, relationships, and memories made along the way with your teammates, roommates, and coaches. After college, you will marry your best friend and you will raise 2 incredible kids. You and your husband, Michael, will enjoy all of the same things: coaching your own kids, coaching other people's kids, going to Bills and Sabres games, golf trips, skiing, and vacationing together as a family. He is supportive, hardworking, dedicated, driven, and always puts your family first. You will raise your kids on the same principles you were taught. It will not be about what you do for your kids, but what you have taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful when they are adults. As hard as you've worked academically, athletically, and professionally, the most important part of your life is striving to be a good mother. It's your most challenging and rewarding job. Your 2 children, Ella and JJ, change everything, and they're the light of your life. You will teach them about love, respect, hard work, and putting family first. You teach them that no matter what anyone says, you show up and you do the work. Believe in the impossible, and true grit will lead to success. You teach them to be true to themselves, and they can overcome any obstacles in their way. You experience many highs in your life that have defined you, but you will be faced with the tragedy of losing your father, your role model, and your hero. Through your father's battles, you will notice his attention to his commitment, dedication, fight, and passion for life. The motto he lives by, "Just show up," will give you unusual gifts of integrity, courage, and spirit for years to come. He is a fighter, and you will carry on his legacy. Along the way, you will be blessed to have incredible mentors that coach with you, and you will be blessed to be coached so many incredible athletes. Your Uncle Bob is by your side, and he becomes like a father to you. Your high school field hockey coach, Mary Ferenzi, pushes you and teaches you life lessons that you carry through to college. In college, you're lucky enough to have not 1, but 2 incredible coaches, Coach Lenhart and Coach Wetmore. They both push you in a positive way to become the best version of yourself, and they both teach you never to back down from a challenge and always find ways to work through adversity. Sports has opened so many doors for you and has shaped you into the person you are. It has brought you joy, pain, stress, and pride all at once all these years. It has been there since the beginning for you and has really given you a sense of purpose. Thank you, sports. I am grateful for everything you have brought to my life: drive, passion, grit, determination, and dedication. Thank you to my family, friends, coaches, and teammates all here tonight. Thank you to my past teams, past players, current teams, and current players. Just show up. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, and congratulations to the entire family. Our next inductee in the class of 2021 is Kyle Williams.
Throughout the history of professional sports, there are very few individuals who have personified the heart and soul of a team and a community like Kyle Williams. A 5th-round draft pick from LSU, Williams joined the Buffalo Bills in 2006 and quickly became a fan favorite through his character, working-class style, and his determination. Williams played his entire 13-year career with the Bills, one of only 6 players to play at least 13 years with the team. He started 178 of his 183 games with the Bills and was named an All-Pro in 2010. He made 6 Pro Bowl teams. Leading the Bills' defense, he finished his career with more than 600 tackles, 48.5 sacks, and 140 quarterback hits. He's the Bills' career leader in tackles for a loss with 103. He is second in career assists on tackles with 236 and sixth in career sacks. His sack total, 48.5, is the most career sacks by a Buffalo Bills defensive tackle. In 2017, Williams scored a touchdown on his only career rushing attempt, helping the team secure a win against the Miami Dolphins and clinching a playoff berth for the Bills. Off the field, Williams was known as a presence in the Western New York community, and in 2016 he was honored with the NFL's Call to Courage Award, which recognizes a player for exemplary character and service to the community. As Williams announced his retirement, Bills head coach Sean McDermott reflected on his impact on the organization by saying, quote, "He's a guy who personifies what we want to be all about as Buffalo Bills. He really bleeds not only red, but red, white, and blue. We need more Kyle Williamses. They probably only come around once in a lifetime." Kyle Williams, forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Kyle, obviously unable to be here with us tonight, but he did send us this acceptance video.
Good evening, Buffalo Greater Sports Hall of Fame. Kyle Williams coming to you from Ruston, Louisiana. I regret that I can't be there tonight to receive this great honor that you guys have saw fit to bestow upon me. I'm here in Ruston, Louisiana, helping coach a high school football team. So on down the line, hopefully we'll have another Ruston kid that'll have the opportunity to become acquainted with the city, with the organization, the way that I was so lucky to be able to. When I think back on my years in Buffalo, really the word gratitude comes to mind. It's about relationships, the opportunity to meet and get to know and love so many different people, get to know a part of the country that I never thought I would end up having a part to live in, and getting to know it in such a way that you start to call it home. And I wrote that in my thank you letter, and I truly meant that I'll always consider Buffalo home. Although when I first got drafted there, my first month there, we're talking about the October storm, 26 inches of snow overnight. I wasn't quite sure where I'd been drafted to, but having lived through that, you know that you can deal with anything. When I think back about my time there, the relationships that I had with Marv Levy, Dick Duran, the men who brought me in to be a part of that organization, were invaluable in building the foundation of what my career ended up being in the NFL. As I continue to push on with Chan Gailey and Doug Marrone, learning more and more from quality men, character men who believed in fair play, hard work, and being a great teammate. In my letter, I thank Sean McDermott. I can't thank him enough, like from the bottom of my heart, as someone who was in their mid to late 30s playing in the NFL, not sure how much time I had left. The opportunity to play for him and be with him for a couple of seasons breathed new life into me, made me believe in what team was supposed to be, what leadership, passion, and character really was. I'll always be indebted to him for allowing me to finish my career there. I want to thank Ralph and Mary Wilson for having given me the opportunity to realize a childhood dream to be able to play in the NFL. I'll always remember our talks at training camp with Mr. Wilson and those hugs from Mary after games. To Kim and Terry Pagula, I wanted to thank you for what you've done for the city of the Buffalo Bills organization, and sticking with me and allowing me to finish my career there in Buffalo and being a one-team guy. To all my teammates, any honor I receive because of what my teammates meant to me. Every individual accomplishment, whether it was Pro Bowls, whatever it may have been, were achieved in the pursuit of being the greatest teammate that I could be. They inspired me when I was tired, when I didn't feel like I had much left, and especially the older I got. When April and May rolled around to work out and start getting ready for the season, my teammates were at the forefront of my mind. I enjoyed every Sunday with you guys, and this accomplishment is just as much yours as it is mine. I'd like to thank my family, my wife Jill, my 5 kids, Kate, Anna Claire, Reed, Gray, and Bennett. These 5 would tell you to this day that Buffalo is home, that that's where they were raised, that they were born. Some of that's true, some of it may not be true, but it's such a big place in their heart that they'll never forget. And it was mainly because of the people and not the game that I played. And lastly, to the city of Buffalo, you took me in, you believed in me, and gave me an opportunity to perform for you every Sunday. It was my mission to show up and compete and give it my absolute all every Sunday for you, because you came and showed up and showed out every Sunday. I believe that that was the way the game was meant to be played, and I believe that was the way that you needed to be represented. And that's the reason I played the way that I did. Very lucky to have represented a city and an organization that celebrated grit as much as they celebrated talent. As I look back on my career and moving forward, there's going to be Buffalo Bills teams from now, hopefully on and on and on forever. And my only hope is that our fans would think back and say a great guy to have on this team would be Kyle Williams. That's my main hope as we move forward. I'll always be a huge Buffalo Bills fan. Buffalo will always be home. You guys have a great night, and I couldn't be more thankful to receive this honor by you. Go Bills.
I got to think that Kyle Williams would have been absolutely the kind of guy that our other Hall of Fame inductee tonight, John Butler, would have totally drafted and loved, because Kyle was a football guy through and through. Our next inductee in tonight's class of 2021 Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony is Lamar Smith.
Track and field records normally have a very limited lifespan, unless they were set by Western New York's greatest sprinter of all time, Lamar Smith. Smith was born and raised in Buffalo. An immediate success on the track, Smith led Bennett to 55 wins against no losses during his time in school. He broke school records in all the events he ever entered, which included the 100, 220, 440-yard dashes, and the mile and 440-yard relay. Two of his times still stand as Western New York records: 10.4 seconds in the 100 meters in 1981 and 21.1 seconds in the 200 meters in 1982. Lamar's greatest achievement came in 1982 on the track at Cornell University. He won the state titles in both the 100 and 200 by setting state records in both events. He also anchored the 4x400 relay, running the last leg in a blazing 48 seconds. The relay time of 3:17.4 still stands as a Western New York record. Those achievements brought him national recognition when he appeared in Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd. In 1982, New York State recognized Lamar as the Track Athlete of the Year. He was named to the All-American team by the National High School Track Coaches. After high school, he ran for the University of Alabama's 4x400 relay team, placed second in the 1983 NCAA championship, and fourth in the 1984 NCAA meet. He received All-American honors both years. Smith was also on Alabama's sprint medley team that ran a world best time at the Drake Relays. He transferred back to Buffalo and competed for the Buffalo State track team, where he still holds his school mark as a member of the 4x100 relay team, 40.9 seconds, and earned 1986 All-American honors in the indoor 55-meter dash. Smith is the only athlete to ever win the 100, 200, and 400-meter gold medals in the same Empire State Games. He did that in 1984. Lamar Smith, forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay. Now I'm going to have to wing this. Of course, I had a nice, great speech, all of 5 minutes long, and I misplaced it. But thank God I brought my wife with me, and she typed it up for me. She remembered a little bit of it, and she texted it to me. I love you. Okay, it goes something like this. We're going off of memory now, my wife's memory. I'd like to, how about this? Okay. Good evening. Let's give the inductees another round of applause. I would like to thank the sponsors for inducting me into the 2021 Hall of Fame class. I'm not a man, when it comes to speaking, very well at it. Most of this speaking I've ever done has been with my legs. It's hard to remember things that happened 40 years ago, and then remember it was only 10 seconds to create that memory. Now, that's far as she could remember, so. Now, I would like to thank my coach he's an inductee for coming, my wife and my lovely family. I had so many nice things to say, but I really can't remember them all. But those pictures that they showed in the intro, I have forgotten quite a few of them. I'm proud. I'm proud to have run for the city of Buffalo, representing us in the state meet. I don't believe anybody has ever won the 100 or the 200 since I did 40 years ago. So I'm proud of that. I do. That prepared me for my collegiate career. Now, I left from Bennett, state champion. Then I go to the University of Alabama, where the two fastest men on the earth went. That was Calvin Smith and Emmett King, both Olympians. There, I got to be humbled again. I could enjoy running, not under the spotlight, which is why I first began to run track and field, because it was fun. I had no idea any of this would happen, and then 40 years later, I could be up here with the likes of Bruce Smith, Jim Kelly, Kyle Williams, and all of the amateurs. I want to thank one more time the committee for inducting me. This is, like I said, afforded me a great deal of success. And I also have one little quick thing to say. We have here tonight another Lamar Smith. I got to meet him through social media, and he has jokes. He always tells me people always thought he was me. Now, I have no idea how that would feel when somebody runs up to you and they're talking to you, talking about, oh, I remember this, and you just look at them like, I'm not that Lamar Smith. But I'm going to cut this on off because the memory is short, and I really wanted to say a little piece to you all for showing up. And finally, Mom, Dad, I hope I made you proud. Thank you.
Our next inductee in the 2001 Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame is Pete Tonseline.
A multi-talented, multifaceted head coach of a variety of high school sports, Pete Tonseline has recorded over 1,500 wins during his more than 40 years leading young men and women. A graduate of Canisius College, Tonseline has been a member of the Iroquois High School field hockey staff since 1984 and as head coach since 1994. Known for his attention to detail, He has over 400 varsity wins, which includes 14 division and 7 sectional titles, 3 Far West Regional Championships, and 3 New York State Final Four appearances. In addition to his prowess on the field hockey sidelines at Iroquois, he is also the school's softball coach, where he has won 7 division championships, 4 sectional titles, and recorded more than 360 victories. He's also spent time working with the football teams at Iroquois and Bishop Turner. Pete has also coached hockey at 9 different schools where he's accumulated over 700 wins on the bench. His accolades include 4 Super Sunday first place finishes, qualifying for the New York State playoffs 4 times, and winning 1 state title in 1985. Outside of his high school mentoring, Pete coached in the Empire State Games for 20 years, where he guided medal-winning teams in men's ice hockey and women's open and scholastic field hockey. Over the years, he has also served as an instructor at the USA Olympic Training Center in Colorado and is a certified instructor for USA Hockey. Away from the field of play, Tonsilline has served as chair for ECIC and all Western New York field hockey. Spent a 5-year stint as athletic director at Iroquois and was honored by the Buffalo Sabres in 1994 with the Michael Duffett Memorial Award. Pete Tonsilline, forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Good evening. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame Committee and Chairman Greg Merkel for this overwhelming, unexpected honor. My congratulations and sincere admiration go out to this incredible collection of talented inductees that I'm joining in the class of 2021. Special thanks also to Ms. Paula Bogdan, who has been my guide through the steps leading up to this night. When I was informed that I was being nominated for the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame, I wondered who even knew about what I had done. Simply, I was only a high school coach presently involved in coaching girls athletics, especially lower profile sports like softball, field hockey, and girls ice hockey. I was proud to receive this consideration because it brought to attention to those female athletes that I had coached and to the school district where I had spent most of my life teaching. Tonight is my privilege to be surrounded by such a prestigious group of people here on the stage and those in the audience, but even more so by my family and those individuals that have been such an important part of my career. So where do I begin describing almost 5 decades of coaching with memories and experiences for 3 and sometimes 4 seasons during every one of those years? Hundreds of games spelled out in periods, innings, quarters, halves, and overtimes, bettered only by thousands of hours logged on the practice fields and ice rinks. Dramatic wins, sobering losses, emotionally draining games, they are all events that have become a blur. In 1974, I began my second school teaching science and coaching at Iroquois Central High School. There, I would be reunited with my 2 best lifelong friends and coaching partners, Vince Frizzicaro and Jim Snyder. After years of coaching boys ice hockey at various high schools, I was approached in the summer of 1983 by then athletic director Chunk Funky to coach the newly formed JV field hockey team for 1 year. I told him I knew nothing about the sport, but he assured me that since I had coached ice hockey, that it would be the same thing, just with a ball instead of a puck, and on the grass instead of on the ice. Boy, what a sucker I was. However, it turned out to be the best mistake of my life. Sometimes it's the strangest moments that stay with you. In 1985, I was at the state championship with my West Seneca East boys ice hockey team in Long Island. Midway through the semifinal game, I heard a shout behind me, "Coach, Matt's on fire." So when I turned, my student manager's jacket sleeve was indeed in flames. Little did I know that he had snuck in a propane torch and was curving stick blades behind the bench. The flames were quickly put out, and the game continued on with no injury in an eventual state championship. I could have not continued through a lifelong career in athletics without the love and unyielding support of my family and my late parents. My deepest appreciation extends for the many others, some present tonight, who have coached with me and played for me. Most importantly, thank you to my beautiful and caring wife, Laura. I love you. So I humbly stand here tonight, not for the records or championships, but hopefully more for what I gave my players. I simply ask my athletes to enjoy the moment, capture those indelible memories with friends and teammates, and graduate with a love of the game. These teenage years hold so many delicate, emerging, and evolving personalities, and it has been my duty to help each boy and girl to achieve something. It's not the all-star status, the scoring records, or even the college scholarships, but rather the intangibles, the immeasurables that aren't seen. I'd like to finish with a story that captures this feeling. About 10 years ago, I had a girl playing field hockey that was not even an average athlete. As a junior, she probably should have been cut, but she was a pleasant, unassuming individual, so I kept her. The reason was simple. She needed us more than we needed her. So for the next 2 years, she came to practice every day, worked hard, and never complained about playing time. At graduation, I was standing alone in the foyer when I saw her coming directly towards me. My immediate thought was, okay, now she will tell me what she really thinks. Before she could speak, I apologized for a lack of playing time in a competitive season. She only smiled and said, "Coach, I never felt this way. I only want to thank you for letting me be on your team and giving me the chance to play every day against the best field hockey players in Western New York." 5 decades were captured by the words of this amazing young lady. Thank you once again for this incredible honor.
Our next inductee in the class of 2021 is Mike Robitaille.
Mike Robitaille played 4 seasons with the Buffalo Sabres, and his name soon became synonymous for his working-class toughness and grit that went hand in hand with hockey fans and the city of Buffalo. Robitaille joined the Sabres in 1971 and soon helped steady the blue line with his stay-at-home defensive style and his low, heavy shots on the power play. His patented signature hip checks were spectacular and soon became a fan favorite. Mike was part of the Sabres team that made the franchise's first playoff appearance after the 72-73 season, appearing in all 6 playoff games that year. In total, his career spanned 382 games over 8 NHL seasons, and he tallied 23 goals and 105 assists for the Sabres, New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, and Vancouver Canucks. Prior to that, he played 2 minor league seasons under the franchises of the New York Rangers with the Omaha Knights and the Buffalo Bisons, American League champions. His NHL career was cut short after he sustained a neck fracture and spinal cord damage with the Vancouver Canucks. He immediately returned to Buffalo with his young family to rehabilitate and began a new career. In the interim, he filed a lawsuit against the Vancouver Canucks for gross negligence and punitive damages, as he had been coerced into playing while injured. After 4 years, the final judgment was handed down by the Supreme Court of British Columbia in Robitaille's favor, and forever changing the duty of care between NHL teams and their players. To this day, players are recipients of that judgment. Robitaille will tell you that this result is his proudest moment as a professional athlete. He was one of the founding members of Hockey Hotline, the Sabres postgame show on the Empire Sports Network. Over the next 30 years, he served a number of roles on the Sabres broadcast team, working beside Hall of Famers Ted Darling and Rick Jenneret. He consistently gave fans a colorful, in-depth, and insightful, straightforward commentary on the games, the team, and the entire NHL. Mike and his wife Isabel have embraced the community of Western New York for nearly 50 years. They're grateful for the support and what Buffalo has offered them. Buffalo is home, and tonight, Mike Robitaille is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
I love Buffalo. And thanks to Pete Peterson, always giving back to Buffalo. Once again, Rob, for being here this evening. It's greatly appreciated, and all the details that went into tonight is just astronomical, the amount of work that goes into one of these evenings. And I certainly am humbled tonight with the directors giving me this nomination is appreciated. It means an awful lot to me and my family. So I, first of all, would like to tell you, when you get one of these awards, you really reflect. You go back to a lot of years, especially when you're a child, and you wonder, how in the hell did I get here? You know, how is this possible? There's so many potholes along the way. And going right back to my childhood, of course, French family, I grew up in Northern Ontario. I was the baby of 11 kids. So there's no need to tell you what they did for fun up there. Can you imagine 11 kids nowadays? Can you imagine that, trying to raise and pay? It's almost impossible. And when I was 14 years old, the New York Rangers signed me to my first contract, to my professional rights. I left, started my junior career in in Kitchener. Spent 5 years as junior there, and really finished up well in the last year at junior. Won the Best Defenseman award in that last season, and things went very well for me at that point in my career. And I kind of parlayed that into 11 years of professional hockey. 9 of those in the National Hockey League and 2 in the minors. Certainly the turning point in my hockey career, as far as picking my game up and being the defenseman I was certainly the opportunity to play with Tim Horton. Now, a lot of you people in here, younger ones, they don't even know he played hockey probably. Oh, they know he makes donuts. Right? Well, he did more than makes donuts. He was just a spectacular person, a great individual, and he changed my life dramatically, not only as a person, but as a player. Timmy never said a word to us verbally, never said anything. But you better watch, and you better learn by watching him. And we watched him so carefully. He taught us there was more to this game than just hitting and giggling and having fun and shooting the puck and getting an occasional goal. There was a science to this game. You had to learn intricacies of the game, to learn how to stand up at the blue line, when to use your energy, when to save your energy, how to put forwards on angles where they had bad shooting situations. It just went on and on and on. And if you weren't watching as a teammate, then there was something seriously wrong. But I'll tell you what, my career went from when I was playing here and hoping that I could be at best a third line defenseman and more like a fourth or a fifth. Suddenly my career after the trade to Vancouver escalated, and I became a #1 defenseman. As a matter of fact, in '75, one of the great thrills of my life anyways, the coach called me over and said, guess what? The NHL just elected you to play in the All-Star game, 1975. So that just gives you an idea how far your career can go. And it doesn't take long. You want to keep your ears open, your eyes open, and you dedicate yourself. But I'm forever grateful, certainly to Timmy, and I was thinking when he was just rolling along at that point in time with his donut shops up in Canada. They were just catching on. Tim Horton Donuts, Tim Horton Coffee. And it was his goal. He was going to open up, if it killed him, he was going to open up his first place in the United States. He was going to open it up here in Buffalo. This was going to be his opening act. And it wasn't unusual after practice, we'd jump in the car with him and he'd say, Roby, jump in. He said, you live here full time. He said, show me where all the busy spots are around town. And we'd jump in the car and we'd drive around for hours looking for the areas in town that were busy. And man, he's there, he had the counters out, he had it all going in his mind. All this was going on while he was this spectacular all-star hockey player. And he was getting himself ready for when hockey was over. So those days with him and to see my teammates just eat this up, to have the opportunity, to have his leadership, it meant all the difference in the world. There's a lot of talkers. There's a lot of talkers, right, Coach Beeline? There's a lot of talkers and there's a lot of people that perform. There's a lot of people that just keep their mouths shut and they go out in the ice and they do the hardest part of the game. And he was one of them, just a spectacular human being. I'm so fortunate to be part of his life, and I was a much better person for it. I was traded out to Vancouver, probably one of the saddest moments of my life. I love Buffalo so much. This town just wrapped its arms around us. For some reason or another, they had a love affair with those early teams. Even to this day, they have a love affair for that. I don't know why, that group, the Perot era. You just love it, and they never forget about it, and it's never left their minds. And I followed that love I've had for Buffalo never left me at all. Even when I was in Vancouver after my injury, I had to make up my mind, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I'm 28 years old. I have no education. I went to grade 8. I mean, hell, they kicked me out of kindergarten for not shaving. So what was I going to do? A lot of people told me, Robbie, you'll be fine. Gee, you have a lot of personality, man. You can talk. Things will be going great for you, man. Never worry about a job in hockey's over. Well, as it turned out, hockey was over, and I was left disabled from this fracture, the neck, and that was it. Where was I going to go? Well, I hightailed it back to Buffalo. I mean, as quick, like it's, you know, as quick as I could. I wasn't the most welcome person in Vancouver after starting that lawsuit against them. And so away we went, but we had to make up our mind, like where we were going to go. And one day, Isabel, I don't know, it was in the morning or whatever. In those days, the mail, if you remember, actually came to the house. Remember that, when the mailman used to, here's your mail, sir? And she picked she's going through the mail, I suppose she's going through the mail, and one was from the Buffalo Sabres. And it was, she said, Michael, you better get in here. There's something here from the Sabres. It says it's from Seymour. So we opened it up, and there's a letter from him, more or less giving Vancouver hell for the way they mismanaged my career and how things went and how dissatisfied they were with it. And then to help send us back to Buffalo, he had those beautiful words where he says, why don't you come home? And so my mind was made up almost instantaneously. I mean, can you imagine somebody telling you, we'll always have something for you here in Buffalo. We've always liked you, and we'll keep something open for you. So why don't you just come home to Buffalo? Now, how many owners, you know, it was so needed. We were so desperate trying to figure out what to do, not being able to work at all. Isabel trying to figure what she's going to do with 2 young kids, no money to speak of. I mean, you know, we played in those days $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That was a good year. So really no money to speak of when my career ended. I had to find something. When I moved back here, sure enough, Ted Darling showed up one day. He did an interview with me, and I said, boy, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to screw this interview up. I really want to be a broadcaster. As a matter of fact, just let me point something out here, all right? Talk about dreams. You can make things happen by dreaming, and it can start off with a dream. All us athletes had dreams. We dreamt for hours and hours. Endless, wanting to play in the NHL, even making pro hockey. This is one of the first cards. You all know what these are. I don't know if you can see it. It's a hockey card with your picture on it, and you all remember them. You saved them, I'm sure, and traded them. And on the back, it said that, talks about you a little bit, actually said I had a good shot from the point, and they lied a little bit more and said a few other things. Then they had a caricature of me skating down the ice with a microphone in my hand, saying someday he would like to be an NHL broadcaster. I was 20 years old. So there I was with my dreams, playing in the National Hockey League. That came true, and then I ended up being a broadcaster in the National Hockey League. I'm like Lou Gehrig. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Plus, I live in Buffalo. So what can happen? What bad could happen to me at 73 years old, living in this city? There are so many people that are willing to support you and help you. It's just endless. But I thought that's a good example. If you want to pass that down to your kids, go ahead. Tell them if they want to dream, go ahead. Dream all they like, because sometimes it can come true. You have to also perform. You just can't talk. So just to finish up this broadcasting career, which I did for 33 years. Can I have a little bit of your water? Dry here. Just starting to get wound up. This broadcasting career started, and it was 33 years, 33 years in that business. And it was good. I only got fired twice. And considering some of the comments I made, it should have been an awful lot more. I thought actually I wouldn't get fired. I was expecting one of the players to kill me before I got fired. So Darling came over and he did an interview with me, of course, the late great Ted Darling. And I said, I'm not going to screw this up, boy. This is a good gig, right, Rob? It's like getting paid for nothing. It's really a good job if you can get a job broadcasting. So I had a great interview with him. He brought it down to Paul Whelan and said, you know, this is pretty good. We're looking for a guy. What do you think? Why don't you give a listen to this and see, Rob, he said he's interested and he's not working. And I got a job and I got my foot through the door, and they kept the door open for another 15 years. It was 15 years before I got fired. Not for just simple little things like having a game in Hartford on a Saturday night, and there was a back-to-back game, and Hartford were in town the following night, and I'm telling everybody that's listening to the game in Hartford on Saturday night that you had to be a fool to go out and buy a ticket to watch this type of hockey tomorrow night. It just didn't sink in, but it didn't go over too well, so. Probably the most memorable moment I had as a broadcaster, there was two, and I'll just finish up here. One, and you all remember the night with Clint Malarchuk when he got cut in the neck. And I sensed that coming, and I remember telling Paul Whelan, who was in the truck at the time, I said, Paul, whatever you do, do not put the camera on the around the goal area. Don't do it under any circumstances, because it was just unbelievable, the amount of blood that was around there. So the other moment was, and I don't know, were you playing in the Winter Classic, Ron? Were you? The Winter Classic? No? I'm going to use you and put you to work here. Was the Winter Classic. The Winter Classic was, I was working for the NHL that game. We're doing the radio, and I was working down at ice level, and I'd really never stopped to look up the fans or sense everything around me, the periphery. And at one point, I stopped and I looked around. I looked up, and there were 80,000 people there. And the snow was coming down. I'm telling you, it was like a Norman Rockwell painting. It was like something, I mean, it was the first game. Who in the hell ever, 80,000 people at a hockey game? Not one person left that game. It went into overtime. I remember right, Crosby scored the winning goal for Pittsburgh. Even then, even then they were winning. And so I just couldn't get that, I couldn't get that thought out of my mind as a broadcast. It made such a picture. I wish everyone had the opportunity just to see what I was looking at that moment. Certainly my wife, she saved me from myself, as she has told me many times, but there's a lot of truth to that. She really has saved me from myself. She's kept those guardrails up for this Robitaille family for many years. It seemed like the tougher things got, the better Isabel got. And 52, I better get this right, 52 years of marriage. You know, I still look across at her and I still fall in love with her. All those years, can you imagine? I look across, and I still, like a couple of years ago, I just, Frank, I think I just fell in love with you again. It's a great establishment, isn't it? Well, that's about it for now, and that's the end of that story. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything here. Once again, thank you all, Buffalo. You talk to any athlete in this town, listen to Kyle Williams and at some point Robbie and all his teammates, they'll all tell you the same. I mean, there's a lot of lights and glamour and glitter about New York City, and it's great. It is really wonderful playing there and all that, but there's something about here that's totally different. I mean, you know, I'll take a little less glamour, but I'll take some people that are for real. And I simply want to tell you this before I finish here, is that if the Bills don't win this season, I don't think that team is so set up to win the cup, Here I'm talking about Stanley Cup. I'm going to say, well, that's not going to, maybe that won't happen for a little while yet, but certainly they're in a position to the Super Bowl. It has $300 on them at 20-1. So go Bills. Thank you, everyone.
Good job, Roby.
That's it. I can sit down?
That's it. You're good.
Roby, come on over, shake hands. Hey, you had a minute to spare, too. You only went 4
Based on Roby saying that's it for now, apparently his acceptance speech will continue at the bar after we're all done.
Was it 4 minutes?
Somewhere around 4 minutes, yeah, right there. All right, our final Hall of Fame inductee in the class of 2021 is John Beilein.
Considered one of the best tactical basketball minds in the country, John Beilein was an innovator in college basketball during his 4 decades patrolling the sidelines. Never having served as a collegiate assistant coach, Beilein compiled a career record of 829 wins against 468 losses during his 48 years as a college head coach, finishing with a winning record in 35 seasons. Beilein had 20 career postseason appearances and is one of 2 coaches to have taken 5 schools to the NCAAs: Lemoyne, Canisius, Richmond, West Virginia, and Michigan. The native of Burt, New York, got his start at Newfane High School, where he taught social studies and coached football, basketball, and baseball. In 1978, he moved to Erie Community College and led them to a 75-43 record over 4 seasons. From there, he moved east to Nazareth College for 1 year, earning a 20-6 record, and then to Lemoyne, where he was 163-94 over 9 seasons that included the Dolphins' first ever NCAA Division II tournament bid in 1988. John took his first NCAA Division I job at Canisius, where he led the Golden Griffins to 3 consecutive postseason appearances. Beilein's Canisius teams went 89-62. He was the 1994 New York State Coach of the Year and is a member of the Canisius Sports Hall of Fame. From Buffalo, Beilein took his talents to the University of Richmond for 5 campaigns, leading the Spiders to a record of 100 wins, 53 losses. And then John moved to West Virginia, where the Mountaineers won 104 games in 5 seasons, including an NIT championship in 2007. Michigan became his final collegiate stop and his most noteworthy. The all-time winningest coach in Wolverines history, Beilein's teams went 278-150, winning 4 Big Ten championships. Michigan twice advanced to the national championship game. Collegiately, John played 4 seasons at Wheeling College, serving as the team captain during his junior season. He received a bachelor's degree in history before earning a master's degree in education from Niagara in 1978. He is currently serving as a senior advisor and director of player development with the NBA's Detroit Pistons. And tonight, John Beilein is forever enshrined in the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you and congratulations to all the other inductees. Wow, I have a lot of admiration for the pro athletes, but you teachers and coaches in high school, you're why I'm here today as well. And congratulations to all of you. I'm particularly honored because of all the great coaches in this Hall of Fame prior to me. When I look back at, the Scotty Bowmans, Lou Saban, Marv Levy, but in particular, the little three coaches that I grew up worshiping as a young boy in Niagara County. My Uncle Joe Nyland, to be in there with my Uncle Joe is amazing. But and Taps Gallagher, Frank Layden, Bob McKinnon, Larry Weesey, all those great guys. I see Dick Beer and Dan Bazzani here, so many great high school coaches. To be a coach and be into this is really special. And I feel so honored. It all starts, I think this is all about having opportunity and then being just through luck or good fortune, being around great people. Because that's how we get there with all the assistants and the great players that I've had. But it starts a long time ago, right, with my parents. That Mike, 11 kids, right? I'm the 8th of 9. So you sort of learn, you grow up and you watch your parents sacrifice for you. They did everything for all 9 of us. Were so different, and they did everything we could do to do whatever we would to achieve our goals. Taught us the importance of education, our Catholic faith, the magic they taught us of having a favorite sports teams like the Buffalo Bills, the Sabres, all the little 3 teams. That my parents taught me that coaching could be a profession. They take me and my brother Joe, who will be 70 years old in just 2 weeks. Just thought I'd throw that out there, Joe. To see my Uncle Mike Nyland at Bishop Duffy, my Uncle Joe at Canisius and Ryan, my Uncle Tom Nyland at Lemoyne, and watch them coach, and I'm saying, wow, I can do this for a living? This is like too good to be true. I had great mentors and teachers at Newfane High School, at DeSales High School, at Wheeling Jesuit that I attended, where I just wanted to be a coach because I could be like them, like these coaches here today, to mentor young people because they're having this incredible effect on me. That's all I wanted to do. I was lucky enough to get, after graduating from Wheeling Jesuit and getting a scholarship there as a walk-on from a coach nobody heard of, Paul Baker, just gave me an opportunity. This is so many opportunities that just sort of fell into place. So I get a job at Newfane High School. A couple of Panthers are here tonight. Selected over 360 other people to get a job for one reason. I could coach football, basketball, and baseball and teach 5 different preps. And it's amazing to have to be able to do those things. But is also those mentors that I had at those other places that allowed me to get that big job at Newfane for $7,000 per year. So as I moved from Newfane, then got an incredible opportunity, and once again, opportunity and around good people, where a Hall of Famer here, Chico Galante, hired a 25-year-old guy to be the next coach of a junior college, 25 years old, that was just a varsity coach at Newfane. And he hires me. It took great courage to do that, Ralph. And I got to coach Reggie Witherspoon. Danny Keene is here tonight, too, and so many great players at Erie that really gave me that situation to be able to coach in college. Nazareth College, you already saw with Angela today. I got a chance to go there for a year, and great people at really an excellent university, an excellent college in Rochester, New York. So things are sort of lining up. Huge break, huge opportunity to go and be back with the Jesuits, where I was educated, and be at a great school at Lemoyne College. You colleges can give a shout out anytime I mention your name, like Lemoyne, Nazareth. That I get to go to Lemoyne College, spend 9 years there, and learn basketball, learn how to win at basketball, at the same time learn that you can win without compromising. You can win with integrity from my Uncle Tom Nowlin. Incredible. It gave me this opportunity also to bond with so many in my family. I have a lot of cousins here tonight. You can give yourselves a shout out too, cousins, right? That were amazing through this, the whole thing, to be able to just experience them. Some of them are excellent coaches, or at least they think they're excellent coaches. Go back into my parents, and it was my brothers and sisters that there are 5 of them here tonight now. Tommy is here, Peggy is here, Molly is here, Joe is here, 70th birthday coming up, but Beth is here. That they put this thing in me to compete, hate losing, do whatever you can, but don't lose, because we're going to humble you every minute, and they still do today. As I go back to this journey, right, you get a huge break after being at Lemoyne and learning from the best in my Uncle Tom. Dr. Dan Starr, Tom Miller, Father Dembski, hire a guy, a Division II guy with no Division I experience, and take that leap of faith to hire me at Canisius and allow me to coach at the greatest city in the world, Buffalo, New York. And we had incredible teams there with great players, but in great supports from another great university, Canisius College. Went to the University of Richmond after that, where Chuck Boone and AD, another opportunity to grow, go to the South, find a new way to coach and new people to learn from. And then on to West Virginia and Michigan, where the opportunity to make runs in March Madness that you just have to be part of and experience to realize how special they are. It's like a run to the Super Bowl or run to the Stanley Cup playoffs. But at that opportunity, you surround yourself with good players, good assistant coaches. That's what this thing was about. Then obviously now in the NBA, but none of it happens on this journey without my immediate family. Without Kathleen, I don't think there's a Hall of Fame for Coaches Weiss, but she's in it. She'd be inducted a long time ago. She's the head coach of our family. When you think of that, as you think about your families, we moved 9 times, right? The 4 children, Shauna, Patrick, Mark, and Andrew, graduated from 4 different high schools in 4 different states. And she's just orchestrating it all through, but Dad's gone recruiting, we're moving. Dad's at a new place, we're moving. They said goodbye to old friends, said hello to new ones, and just took faith in this family journey. So to go through all that, you can see that it's got my name on it. There should be hundreds of names on that for all the people that put me in this position to have this great award and be accepted by this incredible committee. So I thank them all very much. I thank the committee. It's been a wonderful night. Go Bills, right? Thank you very much.
I did forget to mention that sponsoring John's induction was Canisius College, and they were represented up here on the stage by Director of Athletics, Bill Maher. Did I hear you mention your brother has a birthday coming up? Yeah, oh yeah, happy birthday, Joe. Well, that will do it on another wonderful night. Big round of applause for the entire class of 2021. It's that great time of year to be a sports fan. The Bills are headed to a magical season. Merkel, can we just extend the night and induct Josh Allen right now into this Hall of Fame? College football's going on, college basketball is coming, high school sports, as always, are going on. Thank you all for your support of sports, no matter what kind of sports in Western New York. You make this community great. You make this Hall of Fame great. Thank you very much. Highlights of this event will soon be available on the website gbshof.com. Thank you for coming. Have a good night. We'll see you next year.